Like so I lie to myself just to reach the end of day. Comfort pain, comfort hate, comfort sadness on the brain. But it's all behind my eyes, that darkness never goes away.
Una de las hipótesis que estamos investigando, manejando, al no encontrar combustible.
One hypothesis we're investigating and dealing with, after not finding any fuel at the impact zone in the surrounding area, nor in the supply lines, is that there was a flame out in the engines due to the lack of fuel. Having the engines shut down, the engines are the electrical source, they produce the power. Even though the plane had an APU, a backup generator, without the fuel, the electrical source would have been completely lost.
Good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I just want to say good day, good evening, and hi to the host with the most, the one that brought you the over unity free energy at a Jet Turbo Fans, Awake Souls, Jason Laufenberg.
Hey, Ronnie, how are you?
Pretty good, brother. Pretty good.
So, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, I wanted to go over basically a few things going on with the truth community. I wanted to get some feedback from the chat and see what everybody's mood is. Anything on your mind?
I was hoping to hear from the chat. I was hoping that with these jet fuel hoax videos that there would be some people out there that would show up for a live hangout to talk about this. I'd really like to get people asking questions, sharing what they've come across, and get them involved and start covering that.
Yeah, for sure. We got ROTR, we got Kevin Thomas, George S. Gray, Slow Burn 678, and new guy. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. And just to know that your chat will be playing live with the video when it re-airs. So we try to keep a tight knit on swear words and trolling for Hasatan. We don't allow that here.
Yeah, I don't know. I having had a YouTube channel and doing the things that we're doing, I've come to the conclusion that the people that come in and say things that I disagree with, I generally just automatically write them off as being shills, because I know that it's incorrect information. And regardless of whether or not this person's promoting that information knowingly or unknowingly, I still know it's incorrect. And I know that we're in a spiritual war that's taking place on YouTube, and it's an information war for people's minds. And so everything that's being put out there, as far as every comment, every video, everything we say, everything that we do, is being input into the collective. And I just don't want any of that stuff up there that I know is wrong. So I am quick to delete it or ban a person. I always have been and always will.
Another reason is that we like to, before YouTube would play the live chat beside the video, we would like to have the chat involved with the show. So we would screen share the chat. Everyone that's been with us for the last year knows this. But now it's great. YouTube actually did one thing right. Besides the fact that one of the other topics we're going to get in tonight is absolute YouTube censorship. I'll play a little bit of a spoiler here. We can't even promote our channels monetarily or by ourselves. We can't even financially, try to boost our channels at all. We get the views taken away from us. So if we want to try and share our message, if we have to pay to get the message out there, YouTube's like, nope. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks for that.
It's crazy, right? So, I mean, I'm a business owner. I do construction, and I understand having to invest in advertising in order to have customers. So I look at different means, avenues of advertising, and I pay for what I think is best. And the research that we've done shows that the vast majority of channels that are the 100,000 plus YouTube channels have done self-promotion all along. I mean,
come on.
You're the one that really sort of understands it the most. Can you explain it a little?
Well, it's pretty simple, ladies and gentlemen. So if you own a restaurant, let's say I wanted to open a restaurant here in Austin. The first thing I'm going to do is, before I open it for a week, I'm going to pay people to stand outside from between 8 and 11 o'clock, and they're just going to stand there. They're not going to ever come in and eat. It creates a local feel that, people want to say, hey, what's going on with this establishment? So on YouTube, they do the same thing. If you're a new channel, or if you're promoting your business, or it used to be anything you want, you could find companies that run campaigns with your video. You pay them, and then they market your message to the audience that is looking for your message. They have all the data, they have all the algorithms. It's simple. But now, I guess whatever Jason and I try to do, they just will not allow it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's worth it to me if, $27, $28 to put that into getting views. And these are websites that promote real views, real people. It's worth it to me to try to get this video out there because of the type of censorship that we experience, which is unbelievable. So when I published the Strange Truth Project to my channel, I believe I had like 4,200 subscribers. I paid for 100,000 real people views on the video. It's got 650,000 views on it. So that's, in my opinion, a really, really good investment. my subscribers went from the 4,200 up to about the 14,000 that I'm at right now. And you crossed the 4,000 subscriber mark. And what type of views are you seeing when you publish a video right now?
Between 200 and 1,000 tops. You know, an average of like two views an hour off a new video, 1.5-6 per hour. I guess, you know, Press Button Hero is right. Instead of worrying about the shills, that's what we do here. We continue to put out the truth. We try to bust new things. We try constantly. We're like, Jason and I are like the superhero duo that all we care about is spreading truth. We are going to get into some free energy topics tonight as well. We're going to go over Unity and talk about, because that's, you know, this whole jet fuel hoax is great. Huge shout out to Enslaved by No Media. He really pushed the boundaries by just questioning if these planes are real and what are the planes. Thanks Press Button Hero. We love anybody who wants to share the message. We're all about. So, and it was you that realized, hey, wait a minute, this is matching the free energy. So why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown about how that took place?
Well, I did want to respond to Press Button Hero. You know, you're saying instead of worrying about the shills and censorship, I get what you're saying, but strategically, knowing that these jet engines were over Unity engines, and so it was my experience with Flat Earth, with the AE map and model, that really made me decide what type of strategy to use. And that is, when I learned about Flat Earth, I was awoken into that truth by a group of people that were promoting the AE map and model. And, you know, I did figure out that it doesn't work. Ronnie did too. That's the reason why we ended up coming together, is because we had this, you know, commonality, this research that's going above and beyond and double checking other people's research. And so it took us to this, you know, knowing that the AE map and model didn't work, and then calling it out to these channels, realizing that these are actual COINTEL shill channels that are set up in place to spread disinformation. And so as soon as this jet fuel hoax thing started to pop and really get some steam behind it, you know, the Globebusters, the Potato Crew, Wolfie, all these channels right away jumped on the topic and wanted to spin people down rabbit holes. And so strategically, I'm looking at it saying, no, we're not going to go down any rabbit holes. This is a brand new, fresh truth.
It's like, no, it's like, here, grab my hand. We're gonna pull you out of that rabbit hole into the light of truth. That is our mission.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first priority is destroy all the COINTEL. To anybody that wants to make this appear like it's not a big topic, that it, you know, I've got people that are claiming to be Christians coming at me saying, hey, this is not important. You should not be talking about this. You know, you should be preaching salvation, and you should not even address the fact that we have proof that over Unity engines exist, and that we should not have to be paying for electricity or fuel to put in our vehicles right now. So this is an immediate benefit your personal life type truth right now, that as soon as you've done the research, you've got the full buy-in, you realize that these planes are not carrying liquid fuel. That's not how they work. It's going to open up so many doors. And
right? Like, come on. We got to find out, guys. Where's the fuel? Come on. Where's the fuel? Okay, we need to know where's the fuel? Is it in the wings, Jay?
You know what? I've got a SketchUp 3D model that we could pull this up and we could take a look at it together as a group and get people's opinions on whether or not this seems plausible or not. The thing I loved about David of Enslaved by Media's video is he showed some visual representations, like meme-like images that cracked people's minds to the point of realizing, hey, this is not plausible. The idea that this amount of weight is being suspended on these wings, where we see no supports holding the wing up to the top of the plane. This is just 100% cantilevered weight. And we've been told that these planes are made out of aluminum and composite materials. So this doesn't even have the strength of like structural steel that you would see in high-rise type structures or bridges or anything like that.
Yeah, we could go into the modeling as well. I'd like to talk about how fuel cells work and when to watch for that fuel cell word, because there's been some great research, like me and Jason have shown, that even the beer that Jason likes, Sierra Nevada, the entire factory is run off of a fuel cell. It's very easy to do. We're going to get into that as well. We're huge on the HHO. That's what we're into, right? Do you want to go into the modeling now? That'd be great.
Sure. Yeah, the HHO, like you said, when you hear the term fuel cell, right away jump to the conclusion that they're probably talking about HHO, and dig into it, dive into it, and maybe they're talking about something else, but usually they're talking about an HHO generator when they say fuel cell, when they use the term reformed. Okay, this is a term that they apply to electrocuting water, electrolysis of water. You put electric in the water through these plates and it bubbles off hydrogen and oxygen, two-part hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. And they call it reforming, and then they call them fuel cells. And then the vast majority of people it just washes over their head. They have no idea what's being talked about, and they just don't get it.
Well, yeah, they hear the word fuel cell, and they don't put 2 and 2 together and realize that fuel cell is a bunch of plates inside of a container with a positive and a negative, and a current running through the water, and it is bubbling, causing electrolysis. And then the 2 gases that are coming off, you're siphoning one, you're venting one off, correct? The oxygen, and no, you're bubbling the oxygen and the hydrogen out. And this is what you could easily do if you have enough current. You can run your car, you can run a Kubota skid steer, you could run a boat, a plane, a train, a car, basically anything with this. And from what the research has shown, you don't have to fill it up that much, because you can basically pipe it back, the exhaust back to the box, correct?
Yeah. So when you burn HHO gas, you are actually conducting fusion. You're going from more parts to less parts. And when you conduct that fusion, an immense amount of energy is released, and it implodes. It does not explode. Like everything else that you think of will explode, it'll combust out, it'll be destructive. Hydrogen, when you burn it, it implodes. And so it's safe. If you were to have a container full of hydrogen or HHO that were to combust, it would implode. Now, if it was made out of like a plastic or a glass or something like that, after it imploded, you would have shrapnel coming out after the implosion, but let's say you had that gas in a plastic container and then wrapped that in fiberglass, it would implode, and then it wouldn't, the shrapnel wouldn't come out. So just wrapping whatever container you would put it in, like a fiberglass type mesh, would make it totally safe. So it's not a dangerous material to work with at all.
No, see, that's the amazing thing. It's wasn't it Victor Schauberger that said that they were working with the creation, whereas an explosion is working against?
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll do a screen share.
Yeah, and I do notice, Michael Hunt, that the planes and everything seem to be compartmentalized. Everything seems to be compartmentalized with all of the hoaxes, with all of the lies that they're pulling over our head.
It's compartmentalized, but there really has to be a lot of people involved, though. So you would have to have all the pilots. You'd have to have the mechanics.
You can, that's a lot of water, man. You can go large screen here. You don't need to put, I'd really like you to drill into the modeling full screen. That would be great. This is awesome. I love this modeling. You and SketchUp, brother. And this is another thing that if you guys are new to the channel, Awake Souls uses SketchUp. I work in Blender a bit. Jason's the far more technical one, but if they ever want to check any schematics or any diagrams, you could just suggest it in the comments below after the video published, and we can do this over anything. Guys, we can do this over any topic. Look at this model, and it looks pretty accurate to me too.
Yeah, so this is just a 3D model of the Airbus A380. This is the one that we've been talking about. And I mean, the detail in this thing is unbelievable. So it's to scale. So I can grab this tape measure, come in here on a door and say, all right, this door is 3'11" and 1/16 at 1/16 from this white part to this white part. The window here is 11 1/16 inches. One of the ways that I double checked this model and verified that it's to scale was the width of the wings here. So if I go from wingtip across to wingtip, I've got 261 feet, 10 inches, and 3/16. So this does this coincides with the information that you would get from like Wikipedia, what the wingspan on this thing. So now that we have that, there's all these other measurements that we can get. So now if we go from like this part of the wing out here back to the fuselage, let's go in here. This right here is 125 feet. Okay, so keep in mind that this entire wing is being suspended. So this is 125 feet of full cantilever. If I measure the lead edge here, it's going to be more. So I'll come off this point all the way up here. This is 152 feet across the lead edge of the wing. And it's fully cantilevered. There is nothing supporting this at all, except where it ties back into the body. Now, one of the things that I keep getting in the comments is this idea that the wings are so thick. And so let's come in here, and the type types of numbers, that I'm getting from people is that it's it's like 3 meters thick. They're saying the thickness of this wing. So if you go right back here at the fuselage and you go from like this point here down to this point right here, I've got 11 feet 8 7/8 inches. So that is very, very thick. But that is not the thickness of the whole wing. So if I go to right here where the engine goes in, there's this first, it's like a bird's wing. So it comes up, and then at this point right here, it's a much thinner wing all the way out here to the tip. So let's see, this side might be a little bit easier to work with. Measuring on the wing like this is a little bit tricky. So I'm going to show you everybody strategy that I came up with. I'm going to take draw a line off of this point right here. And when I pull up and it's blue, that means I'm on the blue axis. So now I'm going to come back down. And when my line is blue, I'm on the blue axis. So I've just dropped a straight line through the wing. And I'll grab the tape measure, come in here, click on it on the top side. Here's the bottom side. So it's 3 foot, 1 1/16 inch right there. Going through the thickest part of the wing before the inner engine here. And I come in here. I'm going to do the same thing again. Blue line, go back down. Blue line, tape measure from the top. Sometimes it doesn't want to zoom fast. I have to get my position under the wing here. All right, so now we are at 2 foot 6, 2 foot 6 and 5/16. That is the maximum thickness of the wing right there. And now let's go out and take a look at this on the end. We'll do the same thing here.
I just wanted to say how appreciative I am that we can do this together, brother. I've tuned in with a lot of guys in the so-called flat Earth community, such as Morgile and Jaren from Jarenism, and they pull up these draw programs and they start scribbling all over the computer screen. And for me to see what you're doing here, clean, clear, it's beautiful. Just wanted to take a moment to say that to you, brother. I really enjoy this.
Oh, thanks. So now I'm plummeted to this point. So out here near the wingtip, that wing at its maximum thickness is 1 foot 7 inches and 7/16. So we are not getting the thick wings that a lot of the shills are saying this plane has. They're just not there. Now, you can see these swimming pools that I've placed on the wings here. And what these are 24-foot in-ground swimming pools. So if David of Enslaved by Media is still around, he's probably put in a bunch of these. This is a 24-footer is really on the large size of what most people will put in for a backyard pool. This isn't the cheap one. The 24-footer is the big one that, you know, a bunch of people are floating around in rafts. And I'm going to be putting together a video that has all this information, but a 24-foot in-ground swimming pool or above ground swimming pool with the water level set at 44 inches is 10,800 gallons. So that means that there are 3 1/3 of those pools on each side of the plane. Okay, so what I did is I put 3 of those full swimming pools, so 24-foot, 44 inches deep, and this is all done to scale. That is a 24-foot diameter there. That is 44 inches thick. And that's what it would look like. You would have 3 of those pools sitting on these wings, plus the weight of these engines. Okay, I believe that they're supposed to be like 6,000 pounds each. So you would have the 3 pools, the 2 engines, and all of that suspended 125 feet, 100% cantilevered with no top hanging supports that come back to the top of the plane. Just that aluminum airframe, the ribs, the skin, all of the hydraulics for the flap system. All right, so most of us that have been looking into this have looked into how much of the wing is actually being used for these flaps. So this is the flap part here, but it has all the hydraulics. It has all the, you know, the anchors, the supports for holding that goes even farther into the wing. And we just took all the measurements. You know, we're like at 1.5 feet thick out on the outside here. And we're about 2.5 feet thick, you know, in this midsection of the wing. We were a little over 3 feet thick, you know, coming in before the first inner engine. And it was something like 11 foot thick where it ties back into the plane here. So you got the issue of all the weight being suspended here. And yeah, I put the third, the pool that's 1/3, I stuck it out on these wings out here. So if we go to the diagram of where the fuel is located in an A380, it's going to show you that the fuel is located in the wings. The main wings here, it's going to show tanks that go nearly out to the tip here, all the way back into the main fuel silage. It doesn't show any tanks within the fuel silage itself whatsoever. And then it does show tanks again back in the tail wing here. So since they have tanks back there, I put the 1/3 pool because it's 3 1/3 on each side of the plane. Stuck those back here, and keep in mind that this span, if we pull this from, yeah, that's 97 feet, 10 3/16 inch. To just go from the full cantilever from the outside of the wing back to the fuselage, we're looking at 51 feet in this mid part section here, 60 feet up to this part. So the longest span here would be about 60 feet either side of this tail, and then it would have the fuel tanks. So it would have this like pool filled here. And so I don't know, sometimes it seems like, you know, people give just so much credit to the engineers and stuff. Oh, it's high tech, it's high tech. They're using state of the art materials to do all this. The question that I pose is using the WIS that I got from pulling the dimensions right off the model. So these beams right here, the ones coming off of this, these beams represent the full width from the tip of the wing here back to the fuselage out to the tip of the wing here. This is that length. And so what I want to do is pose to everybody the question, if you know engineering at all, what size I-beam? So what I have right here is, this is 2 foot tall, 1 foot wide. I would love to hear the calculation in order to, this is 125 feet, I believe. Let me get the measurement. No, it's 132 feet. So what size I-beam would you need to extend out 132 feet with no other supports whatsoever, just coming straight off of a point back here, spanning out 132 feet, to be able to suspend 3 full swimming pools, 24 foot in diameter, 44 inches deep? I don't think it's possible. I don't think there's any I-beam in this world that you could make that would be able to do such a task, because as you scaled up this I-beam to create more strength to be able to hold these pools, as you scaled those up, the weight of the I-beam itself would then start bowing it down. This to me looks like it's absolutely impossible, and I'm happy to hear what an engineer would come up with what size I-beam would be necessary to do this.
Mm-hmm. It would definitely have to be one continuous spanning I-beam from the outside of the left wing to the outside endpoint of the right wing. You wouldn't be able to have any joints or attachments to it at all. We can get back to this. I'm just going to show something real quick.
Yeah.
I'll give it back to you. So my opinion is that, you know, we design things off of what we see in nature, what we see in the simulation, and, you know, we'll never be anywhere close to what the creator can do, right? I want to make sure people know that, but you can see the differences here, the bone and basically the feathers, and the way that the marrow kind of acts like empty cavities throughout the bone, and it allows it rigidity and movement. But you can see here, we've definitely modeled a bird's wing. You can see here, let me make the picture a bit bigger. There's definitely no room for you know, a bunch of water sacs. Look at it. It's basically just the bone, the muscle, and the wings. They have to be exactly perfectly designed. to produce the type of lift and the type of pressures that are needed to fly. They can't be weighted down in any way. It's absolutely ridiculous for us to believe that they've got huge entire gas tanks in these really thin, and not only that, the flappers and all the pipes and all the things that need to get inserted into the wing. It's just preposterous. The evidence is clearly that the wing has to be as aerodynamic and as light as possible to fly.
Yeah. When there's plenty of other things too. The footage that's becoming sort of iconic right now of that A380 at an air show that, it says in the footage, it's levitating, right? It comes in, it makes that swooping turn, and it comes up and it stalls, and it's sort of like going like this. That footage I had playing as Wolfie's latest comment was explaining how there's lift created by your airspeed, right? So as your airspeed increases, the lift is exponential, blah, 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 blah. And so here you have this plane come around that almost comes to a stop. He's sitting there just teetering, just before he starts going again. So we've been told the weight of this plane, which is a lot of weight, even if there is no fuel on it. Without any fuel, it's still a very, very heavy vehicle. And it comes around, it's levitating there. It doesn't have airspeed to be creating lift. It doesn't. So what he was saying about lift and airspeed, be it true, yes, you do get all these benefits. As you're going faster, you get more and more lift. The plane demonstrated that it didn't need it. All
Not
right.
at all. Yeah, no, totally. And it was a good comment from Jason Magard. Shout out to him. I know he's putting up videos and filming the clouds in front of him behind the sun and moon. With all that fuel, the wings would not be able to do what they are designed to do. Jones showed a great video of under the wing, all the hydraulics and the moving pieces in the wings. That's right. We've both seen those videos as well. It's amazing, the hydraulics and how much space that takes up, and that is the bone section, like I showed with the wing. There is only enough room for that, and it has to be completely aerodynamic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hopefully people are getting inspired. They're looking into this. They're realizing, hey, there is something here. I did start, like the last video I put up was shouting out the COINTEL. So anybody that, like the Globebusters, the Potato Crew, any of these known shill channels, anybody that they shout out, just go into it knowing that they are COINTEL. They're going to show you, truths. Alex Jones shows you truths. He just is never going to take it to the correct conclusion, and he's always going to keep the wheels spinning, and he's just going to always keep making more and more money. So that's what the COINTEL is going to do, is just try to spin you down rabbit holes, misdirect, give you fake evidence where they can to gum you up, to stop your truth-seeking process. Jones is one of those channels that was shouted out by Globebusters over and over again. So just go into it assuming that they're COINTEL, but that doesn't mean that the evidence that they present to you is all wrong. There is going to be true stuff as well. And that's what we're doing. A lot of this information, like the next video, I have a video that I was hoping to be able to have ready for tonight. It's gonna really, really blow this thing open more. It's an aspect that nobody's talking about on the jet fuel hoax. That as soon as you hear it, It's going to click. You're going to identify with this as being an issue, and it's going to expose a whole group of people that have been shilling a certain way. And there's other ways. I have another video after that that's going to do the same thing. So just keep your eyes on the people that are being the contrarians to this information, and pay attention to the angle that they're taking in their contrarian way. And then as these updates continue over and over and over and over again, that expose the flaws in these shills, the whole comet, their whole ideology, the whole way that they're trying to construe this, you're going to see clearly who all the shills and trolls are. So this is a fun process to be going through. You know, Ronnie and I got into Flat Earth after the COINTEL were already established. But on this jet fuel hoax, we were right here, right now, and we're going to keep our thumbs on the COINTEL all along the way, making sure that they never get root and don't spin anybody off into oblivion like they would like to.
Yeah, totally. And we know that what they're going to try to pull, right? We fully are. We know we've already been through it. But the sad thing is that, you know, they have the voice, they have the people, they have all the connections. And it's really sad. So I'm just going to switch gears for a second. Let's pull this up. I just want to show a clip of this video that was sent to me back from Enslaved by No Media. Right here, this is an APU fuel cell that's powered by HHO. And this is on a plane, right? I'll just make it full and play a clip here.
There's also the variable area fan nozzle, where the exhaust area of the engine casing can be changed to reduce noise and improve engine efficiency, and the regenerative fuel cell that provides an alternative source of power.
Right now, all the electrical power comes from the engines and burning carbon-based.
See the fuel cell at the bottom there, Jay? Yeah, he mentioned it.
Yeah, let's rewind that. I caught that when we were watching before, but I was looking at the chat while this was playing. There it is.
Dynacell. You want to check it out? People can search that. But
The fuel cell that provides an alternative source of power.
Right now,
so that right there is an HHO machine that is powering the plane, right?
all the electrical power comes from the engines and burning carbon-based fuels. With this system, we can make electricity for the airplane, and we use only potentially clean hydrogen and oxygen.
HHO people.
Clean hydrogen and oxygen. Boom!
Pull that back a minute.
Burning carbon-based fuels. With this system, we can make electricity for the airplane, and we use only potentially clean hydrogen.
Potentially clean hydrogen.
Yeah, potentially. And they call it a fuel cell because they want you to think that there's gasoline in it, right? No, this is powered by water, people. I believe this is from that Canadian company as well that sold Sierra Nevada, the HHO. The Sierra Nevada actually has the free energy green on the box, right? Which is unbelievable that you got that. So what do you think, Jay? What do you think of this stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, the chat was asking about what about for our cars and stuff. HHO definitely sounds like that's where I'd like to start as far as making our cars run without having to put petroleum in them. So the over Unity engines of these jet planes, they're incredible, and we can probably make some ridiculous hovercraft type like those speeder bikes from Star Wars. You remember those?
Yeah, I had that vision as well with you. I was thinking that when when we started doing the research on the turbofan engines, I remembered the Captain Kirk, the young Captain Kirk, was riding basically looked like a jet turbofan engine, right?
Yeah, so there's that.
Oh, they got to put the globe in there. I know everybody's loving the next bit of topic that I wanted to take it to was the demonic influence.
Okay, well, there's a couple questions in the chat that maybe we'll get caught up on.
Sure, do it. Yeah.
The Nikeas asks, what is the definition of shill? I think trolls are the mean ones following you, right? Ronnie, you are the one that paved the way in this whole territory. Could you help define what a shill and what a troll is?
Sure. This is quite easy.
I'm going to grab some coffee too.
Sure. Well, the spiritual war is happening here on YouTube. What you have is you have a war taking place for knowledge and information. You can have, a good troll and a bad troll. So a bad troll is similar to a shill, someone who constantly spreads disinformation and tries to troll and disrupt the true information, try to take their podcasts down, try to comment people and lead people down these rabbit holes. So what I coined was trolling for truth, which I started a long time ago. So what you do is you take the videos that are truthful and the comments that are truthful, and you take it to places and put it in people's faces. You share videos, you hit like, you share things on Facebook. You're constantly on Reddit. You're on Godlike Productions. You're on Stumbled Upon. You're everywhere with the truth. And you basically, I take it to the point that trolling for the truth is basically having a bunch of, trolling, like fishing. And what we're offering is the truth. And we're trying to catch people to join us. And so what we need is a super powerful army of people who troll for the truth, that don't want any lies, don't want any corruption. This is what I believe trolling for the truth is. So, that's it.
Yeah. And then Brandon Esteban says, I've done many fuel cell repairs. So does that mean that Brandon is in on the hoax, or what's going on here?
I'll be right back.
Level-headed said, I applied to Sierra Nevada, no reply. Enslaved by Media says, I think a small diesel would be good choice to start testing. Yeah, from what I've seen, diesels are set up really well to just pump in the HHO gas and have them run pretty well. So that's exciting, because then you can be running tractors, you can be running bulldozers, you can be running all this heavy equipment off of HHO, which would be really exciting. That type of equipment has plenty of room to be able to have your whole bubbler setup. There's plenty of room. You put it wherever and just make it big enough and pump in the gas and have it run and not have to fill it up with diesel. That's awesome. Another avenue that I would like to pursue, I have a gas powered welder. It's a Miller 225. So that's it's a 12,000 watt generator, gas powered. So the engine on it, I believe, is a Kohler, and it's not that big. I have a feeling that an HHO generator of a medium, moderate size would be able to produce all the on-demand gas necessary to run that engine, which would then be generating 12,000 watts, which I would be able to pull off energy from that to be powering like the batteries that are running the HHO generator. So I'm guessing that I should have maybe 10,000 watts in excess of what I would need, that which would be more than enough to run the house off the gas powered welder. I'm waiting to get paid on a job right now, and once I do, I intend to build a bigger scale HHO powered electrical generator than is necessary. I'm going to start with everything oversized, and then I'm going to scale it back to see how small I can get by doing this and then still have the results I'm looking for. One of the things that my research has shown is that if you're going to be doing any of this stuff, scale matters. Like an over unity engine, if you don't make it big enough, if you just do a little scale, it's not going to work. You have to actually invest in going bigger in order to get something that will produce like a usable over unity type power. So what I'm going to start with is a PTO driven generator. So this is the type of generator that you would, like a lot of farmers would use. They can, off the back of their tractor, there's a PTO shaft, and they generally either run at 540 RPMs or 1,000 RPMs. I'm looking at doing the slower RPM, the 540 RPM, and getting a PTO driven generator. The ones I'm looking at do, say that they're about 15,000 watts. And so what I know is that I need something that can spin that 540 RPMs. And as long as it's spinning 540 RPMs, it's going to be producing that power. So I'm looking at using hydraulics as an intermediary between the PTO and the motor that I'm running HHO on. So there are hydraulic motors that are designed to run PTO shafts. So they're specifically designed to run at like 540 RPMs, that then the pump to run that, you just need to have a sufficient sized pump to run that motor. You need to have your hydraulic oil reserve tank and have all your pipe diameters and all that, set up. And then I should be able to get down into the neighborhood of like a 5 to 10 horsepower engine, something that you would see running a lawnmower, that type of engine, where all I have to do is produce the HHO to run this little garden engine that's running at, a lot of them will run at about 3,000 RPMs. That will produce the hydraulic pressure that will then turn the hydraulic motor at 540 RPMs, which will then turn the electrical generator. And my excess electric that I produce, I will then pipe back to my HHO generator to keep charge the batteries for that. So it'll be self-sufficient, and it'll be running off of water. So it'll be electrolysis making the HHO, which feeds the little garden style engine that runs the hydraulics, which would be the equivalent to like a log splitter. Okay, but instead of running a hydraulic ram that's going to be producing all this pressure to split logs, it'll instead be driving a hydraulic motor that turns at 540 RPMs. And this should be a self-sufficient unit that runs nonstop. And there'll be basically the three main components: the generator, the hydraulics, the engine. Well, maybe four components, because then the HHO is sort of its own setup. So that is the design that I plan on starting with, and then refining and making it the smallest scale that everybody can use. It should end up being about the size of like an air conditioning unit that, people generally have by their house. So it should be something that you can be able to set up near your electrical panel. Once it's started, it should run until there is some sort of mechanical malfunction with it. I would expect this to run longer than any air conditioning unit. And all you would have to do is tie this to your house, and then you could be able to snip the power from the electric company. So I have a feeling that I'm probably gonna, in the prototype, end up sticking probably about $3,000 into it. But after learning how to scale it back, should be able to make it something less than that. So all of this is going to be live streamed. It's all going to be documented. It's all going to be stuck up there for free. There's going to be no having to pay for this whatsoever. And then all the refinements. Hopefully other people start taking these ideas, building off of these ideas, adding their input, showing what they've done. And as a community, we all quickly work together and find the most economical, easiest to produce free energy machines that we can all use and be able to cut our ties from the system, to be able to be independent, not be reliant on them. This HHO technology can be easily introduced into vehicles, along with the hydraulics, along with electric motors, along with so many different, if we combine technologies in different ways, it's really going to get silly. It really could become the Jetsons super fast. How's the chat doing?
Great. It's going well. It's super exciting to find out about this stuff. Like, I can quickly share screens. This isn't something that Jason and I are inventing. This is already happening. Canada has been stating that their truth and the fact that they've been trying to bring this to the world to actually heal the so-called, hoax climate change. It's true that they have been, and they are being silenced. There was a general that said it was the Illuminati. The Illuminati was silencing him as well. So this is an HHO cell right here. In Canada too as well. They're all hydro. Everything's all about the hydro. But see, it says that basically they have an HHO system on demand that uses electrolysis and water. The electrolysis is obtaining pure H2 and O2 gases in the mixture. And then they say that it helps to boost regular fuel. Okay, so we know already that you can shut the fuel off once you have this going. So there is a lot of back disinformation right here. They're running the vehicle off of a pulse modulator, and you can see how all this works. I'll put it in the chat. There's other companies as well that do this. That this is totally, it's feasible. It's going to be the way of the future, without a doubt. Right, Jay? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, we'll probably end up wanting to re-engineer the engines that we're using. So we can retrofit to existing engines, because this HHO gas, it's the fastest burning gas. It's the hottest burning gas, and it implodes, so it's safe to use. So it's the best fuel there is on Earth.
And it says right here, get more power in your engine, right? More power. Go ahead.
Yes, it is the best. There's so much on the engine that's not necessary, is the point that I'm taking it to. So if I look at, the engine that's in my gas welder, and I think about what I really need, I need a cylinder. I need to have a piston that's going to be going up and down that goes, into a drivetrain. But what I need is an injector port and an ignition and an exhaust valve, and all the other nonsense on the engine really is obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. And I've had ideas, like there's so many different things that we can try out, and other people are going to add their ideas to it. But this whole process, I was envisioning engines that it could be in a water tank. So like take an ice chest as an example. Fill up the ice chest completely and then put the engine in there so it can have all of its cooling fins and all that kind of stuff. All this engine needs is to have a hose that's providing the HHO gas and a wire that's going in for ignition. And so the engine could be encompassed inside of water. So you could have a, like a filter pump, just pumping the water around inside this ice chest, and you could have the engine inside of there running. And so it could be always cool, like ultimate cooling, and it could be totally, soundproofed. You could have this inside of a cooler that's inside of water. And so we can make a super quiet engine that runs cool and produces all this power just by like redesigning the head of the engine. The block part's probably fine. Maybe we'll want to do some adjustments to that, based on the physics of the way the hydrogen implodes. But the whole head part of the engine should be super simplified, super lightweight, just designed for cooling. And it should be a lot easier, simpler, cheaper to produce.
Yeah. I think the fuel cells are going to be the wave of the future. I think it's great. Like companies like Sierra Nevada have already taken the step forward in this process. And I think this is what we need to be focusing on, and, taking it to the next step here. You got channels like this guy out here that, going on and on and on, like about the chemtrails and how they're poisoning us, they're trying to kill us. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about when we manifest in this life, what we hold true actually becomes our reality. So when I see people posting videos where they're sitting in their cars crying because it's cloudy, and they're blaming the chemtrails, that there's no sun, I just want to let people know that, like, you're being indoctrinated. I believe that most of the chemtrail hoax conspiracy is being perpetrated to mind control us. It's a psyop against our thoughts and our minds. I do believe that, maybe they're flying smaller drones that look like actual airplanes. There's a very good chance that this is true due to the P900 work that Enslaved by Media, yourself, and Flat Earth Photography, Mikkel, have put forward. Did you want to add in, Jay?
I was just trying to pull up the comments from Chemtrails Are Demonic. There was a couple recent ones that came in that I was hoping to be able to share.
Because it's super important that, like, here, let's just listen to this guy for a second.
What's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today is Sunday, the first day of the week, but we'll just ignore that. The sun is out. The sun is out. The sun is out. I believe I lost count a little bit, but I was past 30-something days where we hadn't seen the sun whatsoever at all. And nobody even questions it. It boggles my mind that people don't notice that the sun is never out anymore. And meanwhile,
the sun is out all the time.
While in the background, they just keep grinding forward. Global warming, climate change, global warming, climate change.
So this is what the shills and trolls, the ones that are working for Satan, want you to do. Is they want you to go around trolling global warming, climate change, right?
It absolutely amazes me. It amazes me. You show the people the evidence, they don't see it. Our government would never do that to us. Really? What planet, what plane, what existence, what realm have you been living in for the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60?
So it's like, what do you think, Jay? Do you think they're actually poisoning the air on themselves and us and their children and everyone else?
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's logistically impossible, and not even a sociopath would do such a thing. It's this chemtrail thing has to be something super important to Satan's deception in these end times. They're putting a lot of effort into chemtrails. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's huge. I noticed the effort, the planes, the videos, the constant people on YouTube talking about them, Math Powerland, like everybody chemtrail, and then they always follow it up with like Alzheimer's, cancer, all these different autism,
Barium, strontium, whatever.
It's just
aluminum.
It blows my mind, because I believe that the planes that are real are actually creating, due to the air being compressed, are actually creating these clouds. It's a byproduct of the compression of the air, right? And that is also needing to be taken into account.
Well, that was the awesome thing that Dave and Stave by No Media put into his video that I reused, was that demonstration of when you twist up the plastic bottle and you create compressed air, you take it off, you get these chemtrail type lines. So compressed air, yeah, it makes total sense as an explanation. But at the same time, the amount of chemtrails that we see in the sky ends up going way beyond what we could really have as far as the amount of planes that we would be seeing in the sky. There's just too much, and they're making ridiculous paths, and the spray goes on and off. They have these glowy lights around them. People have noticed orbs all around them. They drift sideways, so they don't travel straight all the time. Sometimes they do a sideways drift. Sometimes the planes just disappear, and
Yeah.
sometimes you zoom in and film them and there's no plane there, or the chemtrail is in front of the plane, or there's just all these things that go beyond what could be explained by the physical reality that we're taught in classrooms and our parents and stuff indoctrinated us with. Mm-hmm. Chemtrails, let me do a screen share here quick. So this video could probably use a little updating. It's getting a little... It was December 30th, 2016, when I put out Chemtrails Are Demonic, Flat Earth and Spirituality. This is pretty good view-wise until that recent video, The Strange Truth Project. This is one of the better ones. Chemtrails Are Demonic. And these are the types of comments that are still coming in. This Freddie I just got this 11 hours ago and is asking for information, but this type of comment here from ML Lands Allen You're very much correct. I pray for the Most High and the angels to stop this above me in my sky. It works for 100%. They stopped and were gone for days. So I pray every morning on my way to work at 5 a.m. Our skies have been clear and beautiful. Today I didn't pray on my way to work, saw that they were back, and went out and prayed, and within seconds, no chemtrail from this weird plane leaving the area. Thank you very much for the insight and the cure for what we are really seeing up there. If every child of the Most High Yahweh or Yahweh will pray when they see these demons, they too will see how fast Yahweh clears the skies from evil. Thank you. And this one from 3 days ago. I went out this morning. There they were. So I started binding. Within minutes, the sky was clear above me. I noticed when I went back in, I kept saying it. I came back out, nothing. So I spotted some in the distance and went to work on them. By the time I went back in, the sky was clear for the rest of the day. So I had said incredible testimony. And they came back with, thanks for the reply. Every time I see them, I send them packing. I would love to see more people do this. Thanks for spreading the truth. So I just want to share this testimony with people that this does work. It really does. Before I put out the video, I had tested it myself regularly.
Yeah, taught me how to do it, and we all worked together. Me, you, and another channel that was hanging out with us. Then we did it, and it blew the chemtrails out of my sky for a straight month. And I documented it. I filmed before and after with my camera. I've got all the footage on my other computer. It was amazing, and it got to the point where the chemtrail would be going, and I would grab my camera and I would get ready to start the whole entire plane was gone.
Yeah, so this is the evidence that we need in order to know that not everything in the sky is a physical reality that we've been taught or indoctrinated into. If prayer gets rid of these things, then it's not the physical reality that we've been taught. So this is a huge clue into the spiritual and how the spiritual works, how manifestation works, how your belief system, how the truth, how this world in general works. This is a huge clue. What I am seeing is that all these disinformation, COINTEL channels out there that are trying to promote and get people hooked into this whole chemtrail thing, what they want is this to be another fear porn tactic, another way to control people to get them to manifest negative results. Ronnie?
I think someone was asking if we could actually play that clip from the video, if you could cue that up.
Oh, sure. Here, I'll just play out this last section here. As to you breaking up a chemtrail. As for the demonic portal symbols that we were looking at, please take it seriously. If you look at those images and you study your surrounding and environment, you're going to see that those symbols are all around you everywhere. And I ask you to, if you use a public restroom like a gas station restroom and you see tags all over the walls, definitely pray. Pray, 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 pray. Washing your hands isn't going to be enough. This first clip I was filming alongside of a road, so there's some road noise that makes it a little hard to hear what's going on. But the second clip should be really obvious.
Jesus Christ, I command thee to break up. Lord Creator, please break up this demonic chemtrail machine. Attack, attack, attack. Bind, bind, bind. Attack, attack, attack. Bind, bind, bind. Dear Lord, there, break it up. Attack, attack, attack. Bind, bind, bind. 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 Oh, thank you, Creator. Thank you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that was it's an older video. That was before I did the true name of the creator video. So I was still using Jesus Christ as opposed to Yahushua back then. So it's one of the reasons why I say it might be time for an update, a refresher, because we're constantly learning, we're constantly being corrected, constantly coming to more and more accurate truth. So the video, if you look through the comment section there, you'll see not just a couple comments that I mentioned recently, but literally hundreds of people that testify that this does work. The other information in that video that's really helpful is spotting satanic, demonic artwork. I had to go to the gas station today to fill up some diesel cans, and the gas pump was all stickered up below with the satanic logos, just like you see from the Chemtrails Are Demonic video. And yeah, right away I knew, yeah, Satanists had this area all tagged up. And you can feel the energy in certain areas. You can walk around a street corner and walk into an area and feel an energy shift if you're in tune, if you are a true seeker, if you're a person that wants to be free of all these demonic and evil spirits. When you spot them, know that you have the power to defeat them, that you stand over them, that there's nothing that they can do. So they're always there, laying, waiting, trying to catch somebody unsuspecting, without their guard up. So if your guard's up, if you see these things, if you call them out, if you pray for protection, boom, the protection is given to you.
Yeah. Well, what I really want to drive home here to the people, to our friends, is that we're trying to empower you. This is free power that is given unto the people here. Instead of being angry and depressed, take back your power, pray back the blue sky and the clear earth, the way that the creator made it. This is a very spiritual simulation that we're in here. This game is for keeps. It's a life or death choice in this so-called material world. But really, the spiritual level is so much more important. And praying away the chemtrails, praying away anyone who tries to attack you or hold you down is what we want to do here. This is what I'm asking for. I hate to bring it up again, but we are super, super, super censored. Everybody out there, if you're a believer in faith and you share a love for the truth like we do, please just say a prayer for us. You don't have to do it right now. Just keep us in your hearts and minds, because we really want to try to educate people and to get the truth out there. And this is what our goal has always been.
I just want to respond to True Seeker. They said, we can't blame everything on, quotes, Satan. It's a man-made concept, just like a globe. Not here, True Seeker, not here. We've done the research, and we know that the creator of this world is the God of the Bible, and that Satan's greatest trick is to fool people into believing that Satan doesn't exist. So it sounds like you've fallen for that trick, and all I can do is let you know You know, you've fallen for a trick. Do the research. Prove me wrong. We are here. We're willing to debate. We're willing to engage. This isn't hostile. We do what we do out of love for everyone, because we keep double checking each other. We keep making sure that we're standing on accurate truth. We're willing to back each other up, and we're willing to share this with everyone.
Well, and that's what our goal is, to stay on the truth, fight back these agents and trolls and shills for the other team, and to have fun as well. Like, this place is miserable. Everyone knows that telling the truth to other people in our lives leads us to nothing but heartache, pain. But yet we can come together as a group, and we can truly edify each other and stand on higher truths. That is what we want to do. And without your help, without people interacting, this would be worth nothing. For me, my entire reason for what I do, besides I love to make videos and I love to speak the truth, I do it for the discourse, not the discourse, but the communication between me and someone else. And I definitely feel like I have a good connection with the plane, with all people of truth. And I feel like I've been blessed with and able to like nail it with hit that first nail, lucky shot, and get the truth out. And we just need more support. We don't have, like I said, we started off by explaining to people, we can't even monetarily support what we do. We can't ask for advertisement. We can't get other people to share our work because I think YouTube is completely censoring Christianity. I've heard Google and Alexa both don't know who the creator is. They deny, they can't answer that question. Apparently AI is obviously some sort of a portal for these demonic beings to reach into. They're definitely not going to be programmed to help Christians. Even in spell checker or whatever, it doesn't give you the word God with a capital G, sometimes not even all. We're in a really dark time right now. There was a video that I wanted to share as well. I think we still have a bit of time.
Sure.
From Steve Fletcher. I want to bring this up because there's been a bunch of stuff that Steve's done using, in my opinion, stuff that I don't agree with, but we're trying to find the truth in everything. So if someone puts out the truth, we want to see it. We want to be all over that, and the COINTEL and shills, they do put out a lot of disinformation, right?
Well, COINTEL, in order to even exist, have to share some truth. If they didn't share any truth, nobody would pay attention to them. So what they have to do is put out some truth and then mix in the lies and spin people off into their rabbit holes. So once you're finely tuned, once you know the truth about a number of different topics, then you can sort of sift through the COINTEL information, and you'll have certain alarms, triggers that go off. Like if a COINTEL says that they believe in nukes, then right away, boom, that trigger goes off. Nukes are a hoax. This guy is not telling the truth about that, but doesn't mean that he's going to lie or she's going to lie about everything that they're doing. So it's good if you have the time and the patience and the perceptive powers to filter through, and that's what a lot of people do with like movies and stuff coming out. They're always sifting through it, trying to figure out what truth was seeded into it. I am in favor of sifting through COINTEL channels to extrapolate the truth that we can. I do the same thing with like Wikipedia and all that kind of stuff. So I know that Steve is not a flat earther, anti-flat earth. In fact, even people that have been saved come to realization who the creator is through flat earth. He's out there banning. So this is not an endorsement of him, but if Ronnie wants to play the video, it's probably pretty good. So let's check it out.
Okay, let's do it. Amen.
Today, after almost a century of trying, today, after over a year of debate, today, after all the votes have been tallied, health insurance reform becomes law in the United States of America. I've got to use every pen, so it's going to take a really long time. I didn't practice. Our presence here today is remarkable and improbable. With all the punditry, all of the lobbying, all of the game playing that passes for governing in Washington, it's been easy at times to doubt our ability to do such a big thing, such a complicated thing, to wonder if there are limits to what we as a people can still achieve. It's easy to succumb to the sense of cynicism about what's possible in this country. But today we are affirming that essential truth, a truth every generation is called to rediscover for itself, that we are not a nation that scales back its aspirations. We are not a nation that falls prey to doubt or mistrust. We don't fall prey to fear. We are not a nation that does what's easy. That's not who we are. That's not how we got here. We are a nation that faces its challenges and accepts its responsibilities. We are a nation that does what is hard, what is necessary, what is right. Here in this country, we shape our own destiny. That is what we do. That is who we are. That is what makes us the United States of America.
The president made his way to the ancient city of Petra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the last stop on his tour of the Middle East, where he was given a wonder-filled tour through the winding system of rock-cut architecture, established possibly as early as 312 BC as the capital city of the Nabatean people.
But people weren't living in this area.
No, they were living in the lower part.
So they would be coming here for ceremonial activities,
yeah, absolutely,
group activities, religious activities.
That's the reason for why it is in the top of the mountain. Because it's closer to the gun. Absolutely.
Closer to the guns.
At the end, he carved out a little time to do some souvenir shopping, a must for any self-respecting dad.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And it's Malia and Sasha.
Yeah, lovely names.
Are we going to put a cap on top of this once we get it?
Yeah.
It's like this.
I don't want to have to carry it all the way back to Washington.
So what Steve has been proposing is that Obama might be the Antichrist, and the last Sabbath before winter ends, I believe it might be March 23rd, as well as all that stuff that Obama did leading up to that date with Hitler. And, there's a good chance this could be the start to the tribulation. I don't know what's going on, but it does seem like things are ramping up.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. I was hoping last year that this would kick off. So I'm always hoping, I'm always looking, always trying to put it together. This is, I am 100% confident that we are in the end times as spoken about in the Bible, all the revelation prophecies, all that. I believe we are going to see that, and hopefully super, super soon.
Yeah, without a doubt, brother. I truly hope so too. And I just think it's great that he's still looking and trying to do his research, and I want to give him a shout out, and I want him to know that the earth is flat, and the better we all come to the truth, the sooner the better, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's pretty much what I wanted to present tonight. Did you want to say anything to the peoples in the chat?
Yeah, just thank you all for showing up. I appreciated having some questions tonight. That was fantastic.